Hey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Good.
I'm
All right.
pretty good.
I'm feeling pretty grateful.
Yeah. Me too. And I hope you guys are too. After
Yes.
our first session last week,
Yes.
we talked about being, having gratitude and being rooted in Christ.
Yes.
And, as we continue on with this little series just talking about thankfulness, our next one is just, having gratitude for an unshakable kingdom.
Yeah.
I know I am definitely thankful for that, We have a God who has built his kingdom, and
I know. And we have a shaky world. We have a shaky world.
We really do.
It's not firm.
It's not.
It's shaky.
It's not stable. It's not.
It flows
anything.
with the tide, right?
It does. It does. So
yeah.
Last time we talked, we read a verse from Colossians. This week we're going to read from Hebrews.
Yes.
Hebrews 12:28, and it says, "Therefore, let us be grateful for receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, and thus let us offer to God acceptable worship with reverence and awe." So with that, with that shakeable kingdom.
Yeah.
Or unshakable kingdom.
Yeah. I know, unshakable. And this is what when I read that, I was like, because I love these little titles,
Yes.
But this is what I thought of. Be grateful. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the other one was cannot be shaken. Why?
Yeah.
Those were my two words. Was why?
Why be thankful and why is it unshakable?
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so this is, I think, one of the things, if we were to go back up in verse 12, and if we read, it's in chapter 12, if we go back to verse 2, it says, and this is, to me, this is the reason why, okay, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Yeah. So, be grateful for why? Well, for what Jesus did for us.
Yes.
Right? And I think in some ways it also answers that second question, why cannot the world, the kingdom be shaken? Number one, he's the founder and perfecter, right?
Yes.
And then if we were to look back at Samuel, I think we were going to go with this next.
Yeah.
In 2 Samuel 7:13, I think you can look at the verses before and after.
Yeah.
But Nathan had been spoken to by God, and he shared with David that there would be a kingdom put in place. Yeah. And we know that that is from David to the line of Jesus, right? Yes. And then Jesus went through what he went through, and that's our kingdom.
Yes.
He set it in place. He set the earth in place.
Yeah, it was no longer going to be a earthly kingdom like David had been able to set up. But it was going to be an everlasting, unshakable kingdom that was going to come from his line.
That's right. That's right. So then we started talking about other parts and pieces of that you pulled up. Yeah, so
thinking about that, way back in Daniel, so this was after David, they had gone into exile, and Daniel and I know we have Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yeah. But those are their Persian names. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah. Because this was in Babylon, right?
Yes, this was in Babylon. So they had been captured and gone into Babylonian exile. And so we have Daniel that is just in the midst of this kingdom that is not godly, is not founded in Christ. And, the kings keep asking him for advice and interpretations of dreams. And so we see in Daniel just talk about how that these kingdoms of Babylon aren't going to last forever. No. So with Daniel, he was in these shakeable kingdoms. Yes. But he was serving an unshakable kingdom. Yes. And he talks about that several times throughout the book of Daniel. And I think it's just a testament to Daniel that he makes sure to, even in the face of the king that is ruling that land at that moment, he's like, your kingdom, it ain't nothing compared to what kingdom I am serving.
That's right.
And
but he was honest with him, right?
He was. He was. And so we jump all the way to David's line. We go down to Jesus, and he's talking talking to the high priest as he's going through all these trials, and he answers to them that my kingdom is not of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring it closer. There we go. My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, my servants would have been fighting that I might not be delivered over to the Jews, but my kingdom is not from the world. If his kingdom was here, like, people would have been, fighting.
They would have completely recognized him. There would have been no one that didn't recognize him.
There would have been no doubt whatsoever.
Yeah.
But because of his kingdom being, built up in the heavenly realms and then coming down later, it's built on something that's lasting forever, and it's going to live on for eternity, and we get to be part of that later.
That's right. On. Believers get to be a part of that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So, there were some other verses at the end. There was a couple of words at the end, which I always like to look at words because sometimes they really make you think about how you say things. I think one of the words is reverence.
Yes.
And the other was awe.
Yeah. And
I like to use that word awe-inspiring, and I never thought about its true meaning. I just knew it meant cool.
Yeah.
Or a wow.
Yeah.
Woo, wow.
Yeah.
And but reverence is a deep respect, adore, worship, and not just deep. Here's some more words besides deep: intense and profound.
Yeah.
That is reverence. Okay, so not too many people deserve that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other word was awe. And so I was really that was kind of a neat word for me because it says it's just like almost reverence, but it is mixed with fear and wonder.
Yeah.
And which is interesting. And then fear or wonder. I don't know if I said or, if I said and. And then the other thing I saw on reverence was mingled with love, devotion, and awe. So awe is a part of reverence.
Yeah.
And whether you have reverence or have awe, reverence that is based on some kind of fear.
Yeah.
Or based on wonder.
Yeah. And I think we can have both fear and wonder when we talk about God. Fear,
absolutely.
Fear in the aspect of we respect and know that He is powerful. He can do anything.
Yes.
Not necessarily we have to run away from Him.
Or tremble.
Or tremble. Yes. Yeah. We can tremble at His greatness.
That's right.
But not if we are in Christ. We can respect Him, and we can adore Him, and we can love Him.
Yeah.
And we can be thankful that His kingdom we are part of His kingdom.
Right.
When we give our lives to Jesus, we get to be part of that unshakable kingdom.
Yes, we are.
And we get to benefit from that.
Yes, we do.
But it comes at that we have to respect Him, and we have to grow in Him. Kind of like what we were talking about before. We have to be rooted in Him to be part of His kingdom.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, whatever happens here on earth, there is the kingdom that we are going to be in.
Yes.
That will always be.
Yes. We have
this is going to go away.
Yes, it is.
This will eventually go away. I mean, we got storms, and I won't say rumors of storms, but we got, wars and rumors of war. I mean, we have all kinds of stuff going on. Troubles, chaos, Yeah. And I think about, the hurricane that hit here, but then what it did north of us was unbelievable and unexpected and unprecedented, I guess you would say. Yeah. And so, but all of this is going to be gone. Gary was sharing the other day, that's my husband, and he was sharing about Cedar Key, and they've had so much devastation up here, and it's been tough on them. And he was talking about one of the islands there, Seahorse Key, I think. Is it Seahorse Key? I think that's it. It's where the lighthouse is at. And that when we went there last year around November, the whole back of the island had gotten, one part of it was gone because of a storm that came through. And then it just keeps, eating
washing
away at it, washing
yeah.
away eventually. I don't know that, but it may be, nothing after a while, when it gets washed away. But we know that.
Yeah, this earth, this world changes. But God doesn't. His kingdom does not. Nope. It's on a whole other level.
It is. His word is not changing. His truth is not changing. Mm-hmm. And knowing that we have a place to be when this life is over is not changing. Yeah. And,
going back to David, like we should be thankful and constant worship of how and thankfulness of how unshakable his kingdom is, and just a reminder of that is good for us daily.
And David, he was so appreciative of the promise, and so like, I don't even deserve it.
Oh yes. Like, me? How could this be coming to me?
How could this be for me? You know, and I think sometimes we have that same feeling, but he did it for you and me. Yes. So anyway, unshakable. Yeah. Good word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us in this second little bit. So
Absolutely.
We talk about having gratitude of being rooted in Christ, having gratitude of being rooted in having an unshakable kingdom. Yes. And then we'll talk about our next part next
part
week.
3.
Yeah. Part 3.
We'll see you then. Okay. Bye.